TO's ACC and why it's gone from the best hoops league in college basketball to a watered down mess that probably doesn't deserve more than like 3 or 4 bids to the NCAA tournament this year. So TO, let's go, buddy. What's wrong with the ACC? What happened, man? How'd it go from the best conference in the country to this?
First of all, blasphemy. At least 4 teams, maybe 5. This is a league in transition, guys. I don't know how to say it differently. You got to look at some of the coaching changes. Carolina, obviously, Hubert is still an experiment. I'm going to be curious to see how that carries through. I'm not entirely sold on that project, just to be completely honest. I don't know that going from Roy to a guy who's exactly like Roy is the answer. You need somebody with some energy in there. Not saying he doesn't have energy, but he's only ever been in one system. So I think there's difference there. You look at the rest of the team. Nepotism at Syracuse is a big issue. Virginia Tech playing a bunch of mid-major guys. That's going to change next year because they have a nice recruiting class coming in, but it's a league full of in transition. And a lot of coaches moving, a lot of coaches getting older. Coach K's about to leave. Now Duke is keeping everything afloat, but it's just been rough. I think the ACC worked so hard to become a mediocre football conference that it became a mediocre basketball conference, and that stinks because I'm sitting here watching the SEC just do wonders on the hardwood.
Well, yeah, see, that's my thing, Carter. When the ACC expanded, they added a bunch of teams that we thought were going to be great basketball programs, right? Between Louisville, we thought they were going to be great. And to be fair, they were for a while before, they kind of got into it with the NCAA a little bit and got into it with Katina Powell a little bit. That's a different conversation for a different day. Pitt, they were really good. Pitt was a really good basketball program in the Big East. And look what it is now. Syracuse, I know that they've made a couple of tournament runs, but I told you guys this the other night. They've been to 4 of the last 8 NCAA tournaments. They have been better. They have not finished better than 10-8 in the ACC since 2014. They have had a couple of runs that have kind of papered over the fact that they are basically orange NC State. It's a problem when you add those teams and they're all of a sudden at the bottom of the conference. Like that's not great.
Yeah, and it looks even worse because let's just speak to tonight. Like what people see at 7:00 on ESPN, ACC basketball, and we were subjected to Virginia versus Louisville, like 2 teams that in previous years have been, serviceable / somewhat good, made Final Four runs, teams that had made tournament runs. And then they come out there tonight and you see a team in Louisville who basically quit on their coach. And then you have a team in Virginia who is just, they don't have the recruits coming in. They don't have any pieces coming in. It seems like throughout the ACC, that's kind of a theme this year. The transfers aren't making enough of an impact. They're not really having the impact freshmen coming into those other schools besides the blue bloods, like, the Dukes and things like that. So, the ACC is down this year, and it's sad to see because when I think ACC basketball, I expect a lot more. And I know it brings, T.O. is trying to keep a straight face right now, and he's giving you the daisies and it's all pretty and rainbows. But let me tell you right now, deep down, that man is down bad, as he should be, because the ACC is down bad. And it's okay to say that, T.O. You can express your emotions to us. We're here for you. That's what this is.
It hurts. The problem is he's the Big East guy. He's the Big East guy, and his Big East team, Seton Hall, just got waxed by 26 tonight.
It hurts, and I love you guys. It hurts, and I love you guys. No, if you look to Virginia's a year away. Like that's a place where they've developed talent. Like Kyle Guy didn't play his first year. Like that's a place that develops guys, and they tried to soften the blow with Jaden Gardner, who's not your typical Virginia guy. And Armand Franklin, who I thought was going to be a little bit better, just hasn't come to grips with how to play at Virginia. It's been an issue. It's been really disappointing. But like I said, it's in transition. I would say Virginia's in transition too, just from a standpoint of, they lost quite a bit with Hauser and all those guys. Huff leaves, so they got to find new guys to do it. Reese Beekman's really talented. He's a year away. The big Caden Shedrick's really talented. He's a year away. It's just, I think it's a one-off for Virginia. They're going to be back. The disappointing one to me has been Louisville, because Chris Mack brought in so many guys that shot over 40% from 3, and now they've found a way to not be able to shoot again, which is mind-boggling. So I don't know what's going on there. I watched today's game. Those guys are bickering with each other. I'm not sure what all's going on. I'm not going to suggest that I know what's going on, but It was ugly tonight. That's for sure.
Well, it's a mess there right now. And honestly, I don't think that anybody in that program wants to be in that program at the moment, which is a bad situation to be in when you're a basketball team and you're competing through the season. But kind of like to your point, it's a down year for North Carolina, right? And part of that is a coaching change. Part of that
it's been 3 or 4 down years for North Carolina, hasn't it? I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about ever since Cole Anthony was there, have they really done anything?
Yeah, but like I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on the COVID year, and and the Cole Anthony one was tough. So so you're right. It's been kind of like a down stretch for North Carolina. Virginia is a little bit of a down stretch as well. But the problem with the league is you'll see this in other conferences where, for example, Michigan State will have a couple of years of maybe they're a 10 seed or an 11 seed, but you still got Michigan and you still got Wisconsin, and you still got Ohio State and you still got Purdue, and all of those teams are going to be good. So that when Ohio State when they're going through years where maybe it's not great, or Wisconsin has years where you got to rely on Brad Davison being your best player, then the other teams in the league are going to step up. Problem is North Carolina's having a tough year and no one's there. Virginia Tech's bad. They're just not good. And Louisville's having their issues. So the problem is you don't have that second level, that second tier of teams that can go and compete at that level. Now, maybe Florida State is that good, and maybe Miami is going to end up being that good, right? Florida State to me is just one of those things you bet on Leonard Hamilton, right, Carter? Yep. At the end of the day, you bet on him. And Miami's got great guards, and they're all every single dude on that roster is older than you, Carter. So it's maybe those teams are actually really good, but I kind of think they look good now because they're playing against ACC teams and they get a chance to beat up on people finally.
Hey, somebody's got to win the games, guys. What?
I know that's the problem. That's why
that's not a problem. That's not a problem. Florida State's won 6 in a row, and their young guys are coming along now. Matt Cleveland,
your boy John Butler
Jr. Don't you fire me up right now. 7-1 playing the 2 position. Are you kidding me? That dude's a bucket.
He's
averaging 6.
He was a bucket the other day. But hey, details. What are we talking about? You guys calm down over here. Hey, I'll tell you who he did guard. He's guarding some big time players at 7-1. He's good. He's a good player. They don't have the top end talent. They don't have the top end talent. You're right. They don't.
Yes. The thing about Florida State is it's that system means they're always going to have a high floor. And then the years when they have guys like Scotty Barnes and they have players at that level, then they're going to have a ceiling too. This year they don't have a Scotty Barnes, which means they're I'm doing air quotes here, just a tournament team that's going to compete for an ACC title. That's what the Florida State program is right now. And that's what I'm saying when normally when you have a program that should be a top 4 team in that league, and they're not necessarily a top 4 team in that league, everybody else steps up. Nobody stepped up this year. So we have Florida State, who's going to end up being a 10 seed, is going to compete for the conference title. That's what the ACC is right now.
Yeah, AKA all in all down bad. That's exactly what it is. It's okay. And by the way, Dauster, I'm gonna let that little Michigan State being a double-digit seed thing slide. We have one playing game last year, and all of a sudden we're a 10 seed every other year. Well, let's relax.
Okay, so I threw it out there because I looked at the screen. I was like, oh shit, I need to come up with the Big 10 seed right here. And I was like, Carter, Michigan State. Okay, let me put that out there real quick.
I was like, wait a damn minute.
Yeah. So I mean, look. Here's the last thing that I'll ask you guys about the conference. And Tio, I want to go to you first on this one because look,
thanks.
They need no. In all seriousness, Pitt needs to find a way to get it going. Syracuse needs to find a way to be a little bit more consistent in the regular season if we want to talk about the ACC the same way we talk about the Big 12. And by the way, Texas Tech is up 83-78 in overtime right now. Kansas cannot do anything offensively. Texas Tech is so good on that end of the floor. But what do those programs need? The teams at the bottom of the conference where you would expect them to be able to be better, like an NC State. What do you have to do to get those teams competitive in the ACC?
I think they're going to have to recruit better. And the thing is when those teams moved over from the Big East, it took away some of their. Well, I mean, it is what it is. They don't have players. When you're playing 2 Boeheim significant minutes, you don't have players. And Buddy's good offensively, but if you have more than one, you're giving up a lot on the other end. You got to have more guys. What do you want? What do you want from me?
Players win games.
Yeah, Pitt doesn't recruit DC like that anymore. Whenever they were in the Big East, they were really recruiting New York, DC, those places. I don't know what to tell you. They haven't been good since they entered the conference, really. I mean, It's been kind of
And
it's
here's
been
the
kind of
problem.
a tough sell.
They had players too, and all of the players left because I don't even know. I don't know if we can talk about why they left.
McGowan's, Champagne, Xavier Johnson, who's at Indiana, Tony at Arkansas. Like they're just all leaving.
Good
I don't know
players.
what's going on. Yeah.
Yep.